Welcome to day 15 of the Marvel Movie Marathon, and today we're looking at Captain America Civil War, aka Captain America versus Iron Man. Before this movie came out, it was actually on the same date as Batman v Superman, but we had no idea why they would want to put a Captain America sequel versus two of the biggest superheroes on Earth. Then it was announced that it was going to be Civil War, and everybody went nuts. And WB moved Batman v Superman from that date because they knew what time it was. This movie outgrossed that movie. Like, these guys were not as popular as Batman and Superman a few years ago, but now the tables have turned. The Russos come back in full force, juggling this huge ensemble. This movie should not work. It's stuffed with so many characters and so much plot, but the Russos pull it off because they're great directors. They directed some episodes of my favorite shows like Community and Arrested Development, and they just expertly sprinkle in characters in and out when they need them the most. In this film, an Avengers mission goes sideways, causing the government to make up this thing called the Sokovia Accords, which basically puts them in control of the Avengers, and Captain America wants none of that for obvious reasons. And when the Winter Soldier comes out of hiding because he's framed for killing a bunch of people at the UN, it's up to Cap to save his best friend and keep Tony Stark from killing him. And this is basically what causes the rift between the Avengers. I know this is a Captain America movie, but it can basically work as an Avengers movie as well. It's as much as a sequel to Winter Soldier as it is to Age of Ultron, because it's called the Sokovia Accords. A lot of what's going on is based on what happened in Age of Ultron and all that collateral damage. You got Thunderbolt Ross coming back all the way from the Incredible Hulk to tell the Avengers that what they're doing, which is saving the world, is they're doing it wrong. Like, they're causing civilian casualties. There's always going to be casualties whether or not the Avengers are going to be controlled by the government. So the premise of this movie is a little flaky, but it was the same thing in the comic. I read the comic too, and no matter what, whether you're stopping bad guys or saving the world, there will be collateral damage, and the government's not going to change that. They just want to put a leash on these superheroes. And Tony Stark, who's feeling guilty about Ultron, is on board with it. He's like, yeah, let's be monitored by the government. This is someone a few years ago who didn't want to give up his Iron Man suit for good reason, and now he's siding with the government. It's a dick move on his part. He's trying to make up for all his past mistakes by doing this. Also, you find out Pepper left him, so he figures if he's playing by someone else's rules, that maybe Pepper would come back. And I think it's hilarious that Thunderbolt Ross is in charge of this, because if you remember from the Incredible Hulk, he sent the whole military squad to attack a freaking college university. This man is like a huge hypocrite. I don't see why he would be the one to be like, you know what? You guys are reckless. No, it doesn't make any sense. So, of course, we got the main conflict. Team Iron Man versus Team Captain America. Black Widow's on Tony's team, and it makes barely any sense because at the end of the Winter Soldier, she told the government to basically kiss her ass. They acknowledge this in the film, but now she's like, oh, well, maybe we should play by their rules. Come on, Black Widow. When did you get soft? You're supposed to be an assassin, man. You shouldn't want the government telling you guys what to do. Of course, War Machine's on their side because he's Air Force. The Vision, who's a logical being, he figures this is like the safest solution. So I won't fault him for that. And you got Black Panther, finally. Get to talk about that guy who's been on the wall this whole time. His introduction is awesome. Every time he shows up, little flutes play, And of course, he has a clear motive. He thinks Bucky Barnes killed his dad. So of course he's gonna join Iron Man in the search for him. And this character is fantastic. I love his accent. His costume is great. We'll definitely talk more about him tomorrow. And then finally, we're in phase 3 now, so anything can happen. We had cute cameos and crossovers in phase 2, but no. Marvel expects you to know what's going on at this point because there's a lot happening in the movie. It's a Captain America movie, but we have so many. We have the Avengers, we have new characters, including the brand new Spider Man, new and rebooted and improved. Tom Holland is a great addition to the MCU, and I'm sorry to say, but he's my favorite Spider Man to date. I feel like he gets Peter Parker right, he gets the quippy Spider Man right. It's great to see him. Also, I'd like to point out how irresponsible it is for Tony Stark to recruit a teenager to this crazy ass airport fight in Germany. More on that later. Did Peter Parker sign these Sokovia Accords? Is he allowed to fight, or is he keeping them a secret from Ross? That's never explained. But Aunt May's pretty hot. There's that. Then we got Captain America's side. Of course, you got Cap, Falcon, Bucky. They're no-brainers to be on the team. Of course, they're gonna follow Cap. Hawkeye, he wants to help out the Scarlet Witch because Quicksilver gave up his life for him in the last Avengers movie. And Wanda, who's unfortunately the cause of the big incident at the beginning of the movie. You know, it was an accident. You know, she's a powerful person, but she can't contain a blast, you know? I totally get, like, I totally sympathize with her, you know? She tried her best to save everyone else, and she saved more people than she hurt. But of course, they don't acknowledge that. And last but not least, Ant-Man gets recruited to the team, just like at the end of his movie, because they think they need to fight these super soldiers, but what a twist. It turns out to be a red herring, because we have the villain of the movie, Baron Zemo. He's pulling strings from behind the scenes. And he's a different kind of Marvel villain because he's a planner, a strategist. He wants to see the Avengers destroyed from within because his family died in Sokovia. And again, they saved a lot more people than they harmed because the whole planet was going to explode. But no, his family had to die, and he feels like more people have to die because he's the one that blows up the UN. Hypocrisy, everyone. But I do enjoy this villain. He's definitely a change of pace from the evil white guy in a suit motif that the MCU is known for. And I'd like to see him come back. His plan is mighty complicated. You know, how was he going to get Cap and Iron Man to be at that base in Siberia if they hadn't known about those winter soldiers that were on ice? I don't know, but that's the thing about this movie. You can't think about all the specifics or else it'll start to ruin your experience. Because this movie, it's a heavy movie, but it's a lot of fun. This is a Marvel Universe movie. There's so many characters in here. You even got Agent 13 returning from Winter Soldier. She does a lot more in here. She helps Cap and Falcon out after Bucky escapes that facility in, where the hell were they? They were in Berlin, I believe. And she gives Captain America a kiss, which is kind of weird because she's Peggy Daughter's grandniece, and you're kind of thinking, ooh, Cap, like, you know, keep it in the family, I see. I mean, she's cute, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. The more I think about it, it's like, eee. But I like her, and Brock Rumlow turns into Crossbones at the beginning of the movie, and he's responsible for the big collateral damage incident at the beginning. And he does a great job being a big super bad guy for a few minutes. And this movie ties in with Age of Ultron and Winter Soldier so much that they can be their own specific trilogy, because those movies have, you know, a similar plot line. A lot of things happen one to the next. And the Winter Soldier, he is at the center of all this madness. despite getting like maybe 15 minutes of screen time in the movie named after him. In this one, he is the driving force. Everyone's after him. And of course, Captain America is going to do whatever it takes to get him safely because Carter, she dies in this movie. So Bucky Barnes is the last remaining link to Cap's past life. So of course he's gonna do whatever it takes to make sure he's safe. And he does. He goes rogue. And the best Captain America stories are when Cap goes against the government. Because it's awesome to see, him on the run and all these people who think they can take in freaking Captain America. Like, are you stupid? It's great. And man, the emotional climax at the end. Cap versus Iron Man. It's just, every time I watch it, man, I'm not gonna lie, I tear up because these guys aren't friends, but they're teammates. They've been working together for a few years now, and you feel that struggle. Like, yeah, Iron Man has the right to be angry. Bucky Barnes killed his parents. I probably would act the same way, but you gotta understand the man was brainwashed, and Cap just wants to keep him safe. Cap doesn't want to hurt Iron Man, but Iron Man is hurt when Cap tells him that he kept the secret of his parents to himself, which is very unlike Captain America. He always tells the truth. There's actually a theory out there that says Cap couldn't lift Thor's hammer in Age of Ultron because he was keeping that secret. And I think it makes sense. But yeah, that fight is brutal. Cap does the final justice on Tony. He's like, it's a brutal fight, man. Especially about these characters that we care about. Like in the beginning, wasn't crazy about Tony Stark, but he's evolved throughout these movies, and I do care about him now. And you want to see these guys just talk it out, but unfortunately they don't. Instead, we get to the Civil War portion of the movie, which is the big airplane fight. A lot of people were complaining you can't do Civil War because there's only 12 people in it. You need all of the Marvel heroes. Well, let me tell you this. I read the book, and there's so many heroes in that book. A lot of people don't get lines. Like, you see Daredevil chilling in the background, or a few of the X-Men. There's just, if they had all those characters in this movie, they would just be background players. They would be decoration. At least here, everyone has a purpose. Everyone has a point to be here. You got the Avengers. You got Black Panther avenging his family. You got Spider-Man, which Tony takes him under his wing. Like, everyone has a purpose to be in this fight. Even the ones who don't have any other role in the movie. It's great to see Hawkeye come back and Ant-Man. They have great moments in the little screen time they have. But the fight overall is just super duper fan service. This is what Phase 3 is all about. This universe is like, it's here. It's set in stone. Anybody could show up. You're watching a Marvel superheroes movie, and it's a pure joy. If you ever wanted to see Hawkeye fight Black Panther, you got it. You want to see Ant-Man turn big, and for Spider-Man to trip him with his webs, you got it. There's also that great line with Spider-Man and Captain America. Cap's like, where are you from? Queens? And he's like, Brooklyn. I love that line, man. I mean, they're New Yorkers, man. They have to trade jabs at each other. It's only right. Do you want to see War Machine get shot in the freaking chest by Vision? You got it. And that's my only nitpick about the fight. Vision kind of holds back for most of it because Vision is freaking strong, man. They don't ever play up his powers in these movies, but Vision is strong as hell. So it's Scarlet Witch. You see her help her out here and there, but I think if Vision wanted to, he could have just ended the fight right there. Just boom. Done. But yeah, they call it the splash page, where you have 2 pages with one big scene, and it's always a treat. Like, no one's gonna get killed or seriously injured, except War Machine. But he gets robot legs at the end, so it's all good. But still, it's such a delight to see these different characters with different power sets go at it. It's like watching Marvel vs. Capcom on the big screen. I love this scene. I can never get enough of it. Especially, with all the heavy things going on in the movie. It's nice to see, Characters quipping and, you know, having a good time while they beat the crap out of each other. This movie, it is a Captain America movie through and through. You know, he's dealing with the Avengers. This is his family now. But he does get lost in the shuffle from time to time because there are scenes where we have to deal with Tony's side of the stakes and Baron Zemo. But overall, this is a great cap, pun intended, to Captain America's trilogy. At the end, he throws down his shield and he gives up the mantle of being Captain America because I guess he feels bad that it had to come to this. The Avengers are torn apart in this film. You just feel bad. You want, like, no, please get back together. It's like a novella. Captain America dumps Tony for Bucky. It's so crazy. But again, this movie shouldn't work because there's so much going on. But the Russos expertly balance out the characters and the story and the action scenes. Plenty of great action in this one. And yeah, it's always a treat to watch it anytime I'm showing it to someone new or if I'm doing a marathon. At the end of the film, we see Cap going under the ice, and then we pan out to reveal that we're in Wakanda, Black Panther's homeland. And tomorrow on the Marvel Movie Marathon, we're going to check out Wakanda in the Black Panther. Thank you for watching.